one of our questions was, are parasites bad? And that was one of the things that we really wanted to convey to our students, because parasites are an important member of the community. And one example of that are, let's say, damselflies. They actually consume quite a bit of parasites. So if you take the parasites out of the water, that's a food source that they may not have. And so, in terms of, are parasites bad? Perhaps they may have negative effects on tadpole hosts, but I think, looking at the bigger perspective, it's almost a philosophical question: is something bad or good? It's more of just an important piece of the ecosystem. These parasites are really unique because they have a really complex life cycle. So the stage that we studied, it infects the tadpole,
Hmm.
but that parasite then needs to be consumed by a bird or a mammal, and then in the gut of the bird or mammal, they reproduce sexually to produce eggs, and those eggs then go back into the wetland, and the eggs hatch and infect a snail, and then it's a snail that then, they shed those cercaria that infect the tadpole. So it's a what we call a dose dependent parasite, because if they were to kill their tadpole host, they wouldn't make it to the next stage. And so, it's a very fine balance between how many parasites. If the tadpole is infected by too many parasites, the tadpole will die, and potentially the parasites also within that depend on the tadpole host will die. So it's a fairly important balance, and we can think a little bit about, the pollutants, right? Do pollutants disrupt that balance? Do pollutants make tadpoles more susceptible to the parasite? And then what are some of the cascading consequences there? So it's a long-winded answer to, it's hard to say whether preventing parasites from infecting tadpoles is a bad or a good thing.
Hmm.
This was a relatively short-term study, but I think that the main takeaway is that pollutants in the water can disrupt these host parasite interactions. Microplastics can disrupt it, and this is one of the first studies, or the earlier studies, that have considered not just what pollutants these microplastics do, but how they affect interactions.